and Pharmaceuticals in association with Higher Secondary Principals Forum.
Okay, dear students, we are going to talk something about the most important chapter which we require in our day-to-day life. That is nothing but we can say mineral and energy resources. Now in the earlier part, in the first we can say part, we had already discussed in detail about how we can say minerals are classified, how we have to distribute the minerals, everything we had done about the world. But in this particular chapter, we have to give more concentration on whatever the mineral deposits notice in the country like India. Now coming back to the mineral resources, and we can say we are talking about the energy resources, both the things are very important. And if any country or any region, if they have significant resources of the mineral, the country can dictate the world. You take example about we can say Saudi Arabia, you take example about Iran, you take example about Iraq, they are controlling the world. Why these people are controlling the world? Because they have mineral resources with them, and that mineral resources are trying to play the important role in order to bring the changes about the entire economy of the world. Now coming back to the mineral resources in India, and if you just study about the world and compare that with the India, you will come to know that India is one of the country in the world where our all resources are available. And these resources are trying to play the major role in increasing the economy. Only because of political instabilities and all those things, we are facing the difficulties. Otherwise, India is one of the leading in the field of mineral sectors in the different part of the world. Now, let us come back to the what exactly we are going to learn in this particular chapter. In the first part, I told you that economic development of the nation increases provided we have we can say large quantity of the mineral resources with us. What the mineral resources will do? They will increase the foreign exchange, they will give the job, not only in the case of the mining activities, but related to the mining you are getting number of jobs. And that's why the mineral resources are considered to be very important in nature. Let us come back to the next important part. What are the divisions of the minerals? We divide the minerals into two types. One is we can say metallic and non-metallic. You may be the student of the science, you may be knowing what is the difference between the metals and non-metals. But the students from the arts and commerce background, you may not aware about we can say metal and non-metals, but commonly we say that the metallic minerals are those which are associated with we can say gigantic quantity of metal with them, and further we divided them into two important categories. One is we are going to call them as an ferrous and non-ferrous minerals. Now ferrous minerals means what? They will be generally containing the iron in sufficient quantity, and therefore in the part of the ferrous mineral we are trying to include two important minerals such as iron ore, manganese, etc. Now non-ferrous minerals, they will be including the minerals which do not contain the iron, and therefore we can include copper and bauxite. Even you may be knowing that in the olden days when the currency came into existence, that time leather was there, leather was replaced by some other metal. Afterwards copper came, we were using the copper vessels, our copper vessels become scrap, went to the foreign countries, and again coming back from the foreign on the Indian table. See how our Indian culture is there. Our things are going abroad, from abroad they are coming back to India, and then we are accepting it. I remember when we were small, we were using the copper vessels in large quantity. Now we are older in nature, we are not using the copper, we are replacing steel, aluminum and so on. Copper went to America, copper went to Japan, from Japan copper came back on our table, and now we are nicely drinking the water with the same copper pot in a different angle. That's why these two minerals are very important for us. One is copper and second one is bauxite, which is nothing but we can say ore of we can say alumina. Now non-metallic will be including, we are going to include the we can say fuel minerals, we are including the mica, we are including the limestone, we are including the graphite, and these non-metallics are we can say organic in origin, and such as we generally say about the fossil fuel. Okay. Now coming to we can say second important part about the mineral distribution of India. You know that India is one of the leading mineral producing country in the world, and three important divisions. If you take the map of the India as a student of the geography, you must know the map of the India, and generally we can see that extreme northern side we don't, extreme we can say northern side we don't have any industries. Even southern side if you take, our industries are limited, but majority of the industries are noticed on the eastern sector. and therefore northeastern region such as Chhattisgarh Plateau, Odisha Plateau is associated with iron ore, coal, bauxite, mica, etc. And then southwestern plateau including Karnataka, Goa, Tamil Nadu, parts of the Kerala, they are associated with iron, manganese and limestone. Similarly, we are going to, we can say, northwestern region, which includes, we can say, Rajasthan, part of the Gujarat, associated with copper, zinc and other deposits. So that should be, we can say, known to us. Now we will go to most important deposit is nothing but the iron ore. You know that Goa is paralyzed mainly because of mining activities, and last we can say 5-6 years we cannot able to do any activities, but we are talking about, as per the India is concerned, Goa's production is considered to be very meager compared to that of the other part of the India. Now come back to the, we can say, iron ore. How the iron ore occurs in the nature? Already you had studied in the mining activities, or we can say term the mining. We have two set of the minings. One is we are having open cast mining. Second type of the mining we have underground mining. So generally iron ore, manganese, all those ores which are light in nature and available in abundant quantity, we may prefer to go for the open cast mining. Now take example here about the iron ore. Now iron ore is noticed in different forms. Out of that, first important form will be magnetite and hematite, and out of this total production of India, 95% of the production comes from, we can say, Orissa, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Goa, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. But majority of our iron ore is noticed in the form of the hematite. Magnetite is very limited. Those who had gone to Karnataka, you might have seen a beautiful mines are there where the hematite is extracted on a larger scale with the help of mechanized activities. Now coming back to, we can say, the important places in Orissa you will be having, I will be showing the map to you in the due course on the next slide. At that time we will be coming across all the places, that is important places such in Orissa like Sundargarh areas, Mayurbhanj region. In Jharkhand we have maximum oldest mines are there. In Karnataka you may be knowing very close by to our state, Sondur is there, Ballari is there, Hospet is there. Baba Budan is very much famous because from Baba Budan we are supplying the iron ore to Mangalore areas by the pipeline, and from that area it will go to different part of the world. And then we are having the Kudremukh region, we are having Chitradurga areas, we are having Tumkur district. Maharashtra deposits are quite limited or very small in nature, like Chandrapur areas, Ratnagiri, very small deposits are noticed, and even we can say in the part of the other sector. And then we have to come across the Goan deposits which are quite small in nature. Now coming back to the, we can say, mapping sector about this iron ore, just I will come across here. If you just observe this particular area, you will come to know that, see this particular patch, we are coming across the northeastern side. So this particular patch iron ore is abundant. Here also we can see in the part of the Madhya Pradesh, then part of the Maharashtra border regions are there. Here you can see the portion of the Karnataka and Goa. But rest of the region like Kashmir, from all these areas, we don't have any association of the especially iron ore, and therefore these iron ores are concentrated in this particular area. As a result of that, one can able to see large number of, we can say, industries are developed in that particular region. That industrial part we will be discussing in the later stages. That time we come across why these industries are noticed in this area. Now coming back to second and most important point, we were talking about the manganese deposits. Now let us come back to the manganese deposits. Now manganese is one of the essential for all the industries. You may be knowing whatever the Goa deposits are there, they are quite meager in nature, and therefore Goa we are using manual method to extract, we can say, manganese. But if you go to Karnataka, you go to Orissa, you can go to Chhattisgarh region and other part of the country, one can able to see the manganese is mined with the help of scientific, or we can say with the help of the mechanized method. Now generally it is essential for, I told you about iron and steel industries, and I told you about the state like Odisha, Karnataka, Maharashtra. Then Odishan deposits are noticed in Bonai, Sundargarh, we can say Gangapur areas, Korpat region. In Karnataka we have Ballari, then Belgaum region, Chitradurga areas, Tumkur, North Kannada district. But generally if you see the Ballari and Chitradurga and Tumkur, these are the main places where, or these are the main districts where one can able to get huge quantity of the deposits as per the manganese is concerned. Now Maharashtrian deposits are also patch type like Nagpur areas, Bhandara district, Ratnagiri, which is very close by to that of the Goa. But we don't see that much deposits which are mined in a mechanized manner, but they will be mined on a smaller scale. Besides these manganese deposits, are noticed in the other parts of the India, but whatever, even if you take about example like Goa, Goan deposits are quite smaller in nature, and therefore when you are learning about this particular point, you have to remember that both these deposits purposely had not, we can say, concentrated the map for the manganese deposits, because deposits are quite smaller in nature compared to that of the iron ore deposits. Now coming back to next and most important part will be nothing but the bauxite and mica. Many of you are aware that bauxite is nothing but the ore of alumina, especially student of the science or those who had done the, we can say most of, we had completed our 10th standard, and in the 10th standard you learn what is meant by mica and what is meant by bauxite. So I don't want to go in detail about that particular part, because all of you are aware about all those things, but ultimately what exactly I am going to give you other than what you don't know is very, very important. I am going to give you about here bauxite and mica deposits, because bauxite is nothing but the ore of alumina. And in the case of the Goa, you might have seen it, bauxite deposits are there in, we can say, Betul areas you go, or even you can go to the west coast of the Goan areas. We have the deposits, but they are not that up to the mark. Even though whatever the laterite we are using it for the construction of the houses, some laterites are generally very smooth, or we can say very soft in nature, and you can see that small portion of them is associated with white patches, and those white patches are nothing but, we can say, bauxite patches. From that we are going to extract the alumina. So bauxite is generally ore of the alumina which is required for, we can say, formation of, we can say, alumina, and ultimately it will be, we can say, having the humid dry climatic condition, and igneous rocks are essential. Here you will ask me the question, why the bauxite deposits are not, we can say, distributed to the most part of the India. The basic requirement for the bauxite formation is, we require what? We require the basaltic rock. If basaltic rocks are available, humid dry climatic conditions are there, heavy rainfall is there, that time what will happen, whatever the basaltic rocks are there, from that ultimately the leaching action will take place, and only alumina, or we can say bauxite, will be remains in association with alumina there, and that will be taken and sent for the industries. Then which are the areas, and therefore we say that generally we can say in notice in the, we can say, plateaus as well as we can say plateau and hilly coastal part of the peninsular part of the India. Orissa is, you can take example, Maharashtra, you can take Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat are the main states from which the production is coming for this particular part. Now generally we can say where the Orissa, what are the places? Generally we are having the, we can say, Kalhandi, we are having Sambalpur, we are having Korpat. These are the main areas which are contributing almost 90% of, we can say, bauxite deposits here. And then Jamnagar, Bhavnagar are the localities in Gujarat, Amarkantak plateau nearby, we can say Jabalpur, then Balghat region. Maharashtra we have Ratnagiri, Satara, Pune, Kolhapur, because whatever the Kolhapur and this one we can say Kolhapur district we are having the deposits, especially Chandgarh and all those areas where only alumina, we can say, industry is located in Belgaum, that is Indian Aluminium Company, which is taking maximum, we can say, bauxite from, we can say, the mine which is noticed very close by to the Kolhapur area, that is in Chandgarh district. Pune we don't have that much deposits, but deposits are small in nature. Ratnagiri along the coastal part, that is in the Sindhudurg district. Then you can take example about, we can say, Sindhudurg, then Savantwadi, if you are going, Malwan areas you are going. If you come across coastal part, we get the deposits of that one. Satara also the plateau areas, we have gigantic deposits of, we can say, the bauxite. Now next one and most important part will be nothing but, we can say, mica. And mica, most of you might have seen it. The person who is doing the welding and so on, he will be sitting with one, we can say, goggle, or having one, we can say, plate in the hand. That is, plate is nothing but mainly made up of mica. And this mica will be noticed in the form of the layer type of the structure, and mica commonly used in electrical, electronic appliances, and many of the industries they are using it in large quantity. And if you take the deposit and distribution of our country is concerned, India is one of the leading exporter of the mica in the world market. And that is very, very important for us. And the largest deposits are noticed in the states of Jharkhand. Mica belt is having the length in the Jharkhand itself is around 150 kilometers, you can imagine, and the width is almost, we can say, 22 kilometers. Now the production of good quality of the mica also come from Nellore district in Andhra Pradesh, and mica deposit is in Rajasthan. This will be having the larger length, around 320 kilometer length of the, we can say, mica deposits are there, and they are noticed. Those who had gone to Jaipur and Bhilwara region, you might have enjoyed these mica deposits. They will be, we can say, extracted from this area, and Rajasthan is one of the leading exporter of mica in the world market. and small deposits are also noticed, we can see in the other part of the Indian continent, but production will be quite limited in nature. Now in this particular graph, this particular map, you are going to get where we can say these deposits are occurring. That is, I had included here copper and bauxite. Mica I had not included much more, because mica deposits you can see in the part of this Gujarat areas. Then one can able to see in the portion of the Rajasthan region here. This particular area, Jaipur and Bhilwara region, you can able to get it. Even if you go to Kerala and Karnataka also, we have small mica deposits are there, and these are the areas where one can able to see the copper deposits, because copper is also considered to be one of the important mineral which we require as a metal in the particular activities. Now coming back to I am come back to the copper. Now many of you are aware that in the olden days copper was used as a metal for the purpose of coinage. Afterwards it has been replaced by, we can say, we came to alumina, we came to steel, now we can say cashless things, now online tradition, so many things are there. Now paper money, instead of paper money we are coming across, we can say electronic media become the money for you. All these things are coming in the marketing areas, but copper had not lost its importance. Remember that copper had gone from India to the other part of the world, came back to the India. Because earlier days when we were small, we used to remove the water from the well with the help of copper, we can say, vessels, and we used to keep the water in the, we can say, house, and we used to drink, we were healthy. Now in between it had changes has been taken place. Copper has gone to alumina, alumina had come from the other place to India. Indian copper vessels went to America, went to Japan. See how the earth is round because of that. From Japan it came to China, and China had made the beautiful pots. Same pots are coming on our table. See where we are going back to the same nature only. Only we are coming in a modernized form. We were using, even in the olden days, we were using the mud pot to prepare our food. And now if you start preparing the food in mud pot, people will laugh at you, you are poor or what. But now it had gone to all the countries, came back, and in the 5-star hotels, same rice, it is coated, or we can say same mud pot covered with, we can say, golden color, we are paying 500 to 600 rupees. See, the things are happening in the same manner. Therefore, Indian copper deposits got good value in the world market, and we are having, we can say, used in large scale in the different sectors, like we are using in jewelry, making utensils, electrical appliances, and main deposits are noticed, we can say, Singhbhum in Jharkhand areas, Balghat in Madhya Pradesh, Alwar district in Rajasthan, and deposits are also noticed in the state like, we can say, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, as well as we can say Andhra Pradesh. Now the most important part for us is nothing but the energy resources. Now why we need the energy? Every industry want the energy. You take example, now we are doing the shooting, we are doing so many things, we require the energy. Energy may be in any form, but ultimately we want energy. And therefore, in the olden days, the country like India, we were not that much developed in the industrial sector, mainly because the sources of the energies were not available or not made available by the Britishers. You take example about cotton textile industry, we are going to study that one in the next chapter. Britishers had told us cotton textile industry is not suitable in India at all, and therefore they had fooled our ancestors. And what our ancestors used to do, we used to send our cotton to, raw cotton to UK, and from UK we used to get the finished product. Then afterwards the development has been taken place. Similarly, when we are talking about the energy resources, we are including coal, petroleum and natural gas, and all these resources are non-renewable. That's why every now and then people are talking about conservation of the resources. What is exactly means by the conservation of resources? Means proper utilization, not proper saving, but proper utilization of resources. Now we can see that the country like China, they have taken the ore from the different part of the world. They kept the stock with them, and they are planning to rule the entire world. That's why the conservation is very, very important in the part of, we can say, storage and utilization of energy. Now coming back to in this particular part, coal is required to all the industries, and coal is noticed in 4 different forms. Which are the different forms of the coal? One is peat, second one is lignite, third one is bituminous, fourth one is anthracite. Out of that, anthracite is heavy in nature, transportation become difficult one, but India is having maximum resources of, we can say, the bituminous. Peat is basic form, peat is partially, we can say, noticed in the wooden form, but remaining, we can say, whatever the other varieties are there, lignite will be giving huge amount of the smoke, then bituminous is somehow better because it will give around 70% of the energy, and then highly, we can say, carbon association will be nothing but anthracite, which is having the demand in the market, but the production is very, very limited one. And where these deposits are mainly noticed, most of the coal deposits, remember that they are noticed on the eastern sector of the India. And that's why one can able to see iron and steel industries are well developed in eastern part of India than that of the southern and northern region. Except southern region, if you take Bhadravati Iron and Steel, that is known as Vishweshwaraya Iron and Steel Factory, that is in one part, but remaining most of the industries one can able to see in Bihar, Orissa and West Bengal. Now generally coal deposits, you may be knowing the history about how the coal has been formed and so on, that we don't want to go in detail. But whatever the coal deposits are noticed, Jharkhand is in the Bengal, is having we can say Jharkhand, then we can say Bengal coalfields, they are important, then Jharia, Raniganj are the other localities. Then one can able to see Godavari basin, Son basin, Mahanadi river. Most of these river basins are associated with the coal. And then we are going to next important part. After knowing the coal, beside that Jharia is also there. All these others are not included here because it will be taking, we can say, lot of time to you. But only when you refer the map of India, just go to the eastern part of the India, especially Bihar, West Bengal, Jharkhand and all those sectors, one can able to see gigantic coal mines are there. And most of the coal mines are generally, we can say, most of the coal is generally noticed in the form of the bituminous type. Now, coming back to here, we can say crude oil. Now, after that particularly coal, we are giving more importance to crude oil. Now, you know that India is one of the leading importer of the crude in the world market. That's why earlier days you might have seen that we had reached up to a level of 100 rupees per liter in the petroleum sector. Why? Because we are depending on the other regions. And that's why now every country is trying to improve themselves in the field of, we can say, deposition. And especially coal deposits generally, we can say the crude oil is generally obtained at a greater depth and it is always associated with, we can say, sedimentary rock unit. And even till today we can say that about 60 to 70% of our import is mainly based on the foreign sector. That's why we are spending lot of foreign currency on, we can say, petroleum product, and therefore government is insisting to tell the people minimize. But here there are so many drawbacks are there. We can't blame to government, we can't blame to society. Now we have to think about ourselves to alternate sources of the energy. So therefore, why government is insisting people should avoid, but here what happens, the public transport system should be made available to the people at a reasonable rate at the regular interval of time. That is not available and it is not a mandatory, nobody talking about that one. What rich people feel that I am spending petrol from my pocket, why somebody should bother? Okay, you are spending money from your pocket, but at the same time, whatever the resources you are using, once they are used, it is lost forever. That we never think it. We can see the people coming with one car and nobody is there, alone one driver is there and he is coming to Panjim city all along the way from Margao, Kankon, etc. Remaining 3 seats are vacant, which is not done in other sector. Therefore, other countries are trying to, we can say, save the petrol. They can accommodate remaining 4 people and carry out, but that is not there in India. And that's why we face the problem about the scarcity of the resources. If we manage our resources properly, ultimately I don't think India can able to rule over the world as per the energy resources are concerned. And generally from the crude oil, whatever we are getting it from the well, that should be undergo the distillation, and that distillation will be giving you the number of byproducts. Which are the byproducts of them? One is the diesel, one is petrol, then gasoline, then tar, then we are using your Vaseline. So many things are produced by using, we can say, the destructive distillation of the crude oil. And now India is importing huge quantity of the crude oil from Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, etc. That's why the new pipeline they are putting it from, we can say, Iran, Iraq sector via Pakistan to India, and India want to supply the water to them. On the contrary ground, we are going to get, we can say, the crude oil from those countries. Then as per the distribution of the crude oils in India is concerned, we are having the oldest, we can say, well was noticed in Digboi in Assam. Then afterwards one can able to see Ankleshwar region is there, Kalori is there, then we can having the Kosba, are all the other locations which are noticed in the part of the Gujarat area. Ankleshwar will be coming in the part of the Gujarat region, Kalol and Komba is also coming close by to that particular area. Now after that one, after we can say around 1980 and so on, one can able to see the Bombay High is one of the major, we can say, a Bombay High, which is located at a distance of 160 kilometers off the Mumbai coast, is one of the leading, we can say, oil and gas producing region. And that's why the Bombay High got more importance. Many of you might have seen that sometimes the Bombay High catches the fire and so on. But till today we are not managing the resources from Bombay High properly, and ultimately Bombay High is considered to be one of the leading, we can say, producer of the oil and gas to our country. Now deposits are also noticed to Krishna Valley, then Godavari Basin, Kaveri Basin. Lot of researches are going on till today, because many of them say that India is floating on oil belt, or we can say oil pool. But till today we have to apply our technology, we have to enhance our knowledge, and we have to spend lot of money on the researches. Then only we can able to see that India is having the gigantic deposits of so many resources. But only one thing is, our dedication is important, support from all the sector is very important. If that is there, then naturally our country can be self-dependent by itself. Now coming to, we can say, natural gas deposits, they are also noticed, we can say, different part of the India, but generally we can say, as per the natural gas is concerned, we are importing huge quantity from the other part of the world. Coming back to, we can say, another important point about the non-conventional energy resources. And in the case of the non-conventional energy resources, we are going to give the importance for nuclear power, solar power, wind power, tidal wave power, geothermal power, bioenergy. Now here you will ask me, I had not given many points to you, because I don't like that PowerPoint become a stereotype, because it is like a stereo. Tomorrow you will say that what the sir had came, he gave but something he gave, he shown it on the TV, that I can also see. Therefore I had not given many more informations to you, because most of the things you are aware. From the 10th onwards you are learning all the things. Out of that, this nuclear power is one of the most important sector in our country, but till today our presentation from various sectors is not up to the mark, and that's why the people are objecting Kaiga project, people are we can say not ready to accept the new projects which are coming up based on the nuclear power. But you have to remember that in the future we have to depend totally on the nuclear power. Why we have to depend totally on the nuclear power? Because day by day coal, petroleum, natural gas, those resources are decreasing, and when they are decreasing, we have to go alternate energy. Like I prefer more on solar energy than that of the wind, tidal and geothermal power, because you see that the state like Goa, why Goa cannot use the solar power in large scale? We are wasting maximum solar power. See the state like Goa, almost 12 months we are having good solar energy. Why not we can't convert ourselves? Only initial stage our investment is more. But if you do it, say big campuses are there, school campuses are there, government buildings are there, they can convert into solar energy. So Goa can be self-dependent by solar, and Goa, whatever energy they get from the other state, they can sell it outright, and Goa's economy can run. And that's why along with the nuclear power station establishment is very expensive. That is very important. Lot of care has to be taken. Nuclear power and nuclear reactor, lot of difference is there. Till today people are not aware about that one. Nuclear reactor is totally different, and nuclear power stations are different, because in the nuclear power station they are using radioactive minerals such as uranium, thorium, etc. and even 1 ounce of uranium is giving the energy equivalent to 10,000 tons of, we can say, coal. If you burn 10,000 tons of the coal, whatever the energy we are going to get, same energy you can get even you are using, we can say, 1 ounce of the uranium. So these uraniums are very important for us, because this uranium radiations will be taken place, water get heated, water get converted into steam, steam is brought in contact with the turbines, turbines start rotating, turbine generate the power, and then again the steam cool down and discharge back to the river, so that there is no problem at all as per the nuclear power is concerned. People should support the government activities and see that how best we can utilize our resources. That is very important to us. Then these, we can say, uranium deposits are noticed in, we can say, Singhbhum copper belt, then Udaipur and Alwar in the Rajasthan areas, we have, we can say, good deposits of uranium. But if you see overall scenario in the India, we have to depend uranium from the other part of the world. Our production is quite limited in nature, but we are getting, we can say, uranium and thorium from other part of the, we can say, world. Now coming back to solar energy, on that solar energy I had not given many points to you, because all of you are experienced in that, we can say, experience in that particular part, because solar energy available at free of cost and everywhere. That is very important. Nobody will come by the end of the month and you will say that I am coming from the sun and you pay me this much. It is not like that. but only initial investment is large, it will not create any pollution or nothing will be created to you. That is also very, very important when you are discussing about the solar energy. Free of cost, pollution free, available everywhere, available almost we can say most of the season, and that's why it is considered to be eco-friendly, and people should go ahead with that one about the solar power. Then similarly bioenergy. Bioenergy is used only in the rural sector. In the rural part of the area where the gas is not available, people prefer to go for the bioenergy. Now why bioenergy is important? Because whatever the waste is there at your home or domestic waste is there, even animal waste is there, that can be put to the biogas plant. You get the gas, gas can convert into electrical energy, same gas can be used for cooking purpose, and then you whatever the waste obtained after the biogas plant, it is a good fertilizer for we can say agriculture activity. That's why this bioenergy is also capturing very good market in the internal part of the India. These tidal and geothermal energies are generally we can say not that much economical in nature, because tidal waves it depends on the tide, then we have to do lot of efforts. Instead of that one, I feel the country like India, if we concentrate more on we can say the solar energy, I think India can be self-dependent in that particular part. That will be also telling you about how we can say the things are happening in the country like India. Now coming back to even there are so many other sources of the powers are there. We will not go in detail about that one because we have to concentrate only on the basic requirement which is basically necessary as per our study is concerned. Then in that last and most important part is about the conservation of the resources. Now many times what happens, many people are not aware about what is exactly conservation of the resources. So you have to remember that conservation means proper utilization of resources. That is very, very important. And if you use our resources in a systematic way, then naturally we can say that we don't have to depend on any other countries in the world for the purpose of the power. Now conservation means proper utilization. Remember, this is very, very serious part. Many of us we are not knowing. Many of us will say that conservation means preservation. Suppose if I make coal big deposit in front of my house, if I am not using the coal deposit, what is the use of that coal deposit to me? So coal deposit also should be used in a systematic manner, or wherever coal deposits are not required, if I get electricity by any other means, I can use that energy. Why I should depend on coal deposits there? Because it is a non-renewable resource, and therefore generally we can say conservation of resources means proper utilization of resources. The basic requirement for conservation of resources is saving for future generation. Why we should save the resources? Today we see the condition, whatever plants you can see around the Panjim city or in different part of the Goa, the credit goes to our ancestors. They planted, they never thought that I am going to get something from this plant. But they had spent their lot of energy, they planted the tree, we are enjoying. Now what we are doing, we are destroying what they are planted. And what our next generation will ask the question, what you kept to us, we will give the answer, we had made nice bridges, we had made tar roads, you enjoy on that one. Ultimately they will ask the question to us, where the wild animals, everything, day by day they are decreasing. And therefore it is our duty to see that we should conserve the resources for the future generation. Otherwise whatever the reptiles and all those things we are seeing, in the future we have to tell the next generation that when I was small, that time such type of the snake was there. Therefore many times when we tell in the class, I tell the student better take the selfie with the snake and so on. So you can tell your grandchildren that when I was small, that time such type of the creature was there in the nature. So don't do that way, try to see that in how best manner I can save the, we can say environment, and in how best way I can utilize my resources. Don't think that selfishness, because when you see something we want to destroy, but ultimately you have to see in the nature how the different animals are doing their activities. I will give very simple example to you before coming to last part here, that you just observe it about we can say a monkey or any animal, or we can say any bird, when it goes move from one plant to other plant, he try to we can say take the we can say fruit, and when we get angry, why this we can say birds are eating the fruits and destroying us. See, bird is touching the fruit, he don't eat entire thing. If I would have climbed the fruit, I got mango, I would have eaten entire thing. I would not have thought about my next generation. But what these monkeys or this one they will do, they eat partially and throw it down. And when they are throwing it down, there are so many others are there who try to destroy them into smaller units, and everybody will be happy with that particular we can say resources. And that's why it is our duty to save and conserve our resources in a systematic manner. and majority of the resources are non-renewable. As a result, once they are utilized, it is lost forever. In such cases, some other resources must be used. For example, wood can be replaced by aluminium, or even so many iron ore can be replaced by some other thing. Like that, if you try to follow, we can say certain things. Ultimately, I feel that we can utilize our resources in a systematic manner. And then here conventional, we can say energy resource plants which are there in our country, it has been given here, and that will be helping you to get an idea that where the coal mines are there, or even we can say we are coming across all these regions, and here one can able to see the conventional, we can say energy resources. Those are the centers from where we can say huge amount of energy generated. For example, Naveli lignite mine, this is only one open cast mine in our country where the coal is mined by applying the latest methods. But all other mines, coal mines, are generally underground minings. They are noticed at a greater depth, and here also some of the centers are there where one can able to see the resources, and they are generating, we can say, the main part. And that will be giving you, we can say, some of the ideas regarding, we can say, how these, we can say, mineral resources are playing the important role. Therefore, in my 7th chapter, we are covering, we can say, all the concept in detail, and how we can say things are happening. That is also considered to be, we can say, prior basis. And in the earlier part, whatever try to remember from the exam point of view, don't study exam point of view, because you are going to appear for many competitive exam. And if you want to appear for many competitive exam, your knowledge of India is very, very important. Try to remember map of the India. This map of the India, if it is in front of the eyes, your 50% geography get over. Why? Because you know which are the where what type of the deposits are there, which rocks are units are noticed in which area. For example, if you study about the rock, these are the entire Himalayan ranges. Then you can see in the central one, this particular portion we have Rajasthan desert. Here we are having triangular, we can say, we have Deccan basalt. Then we are having the east coast and west coast region. If you remember this particular map, definitely all the deposits become easy for you to remember, because gold deposits are noticed in, we can say, in the part of the Karnataka itself. No other place we have that much deposits are there. If you talk about the silver and other things, they have also limited deposits. Copper is noticed in some part of the Karnataka. Then you can go to these particular states. They are very important in almost all the energy resources. Try to remember that particular point. Try to remember what are the basic requirements for the formation, and then try to remember what are the uses of different minerals for the economy of the nation. And that will be giving you the idea in detail about what is meant by, we can say, mineral and energy resources. So that will be giving you the entire picture about this particular lesson. They may ask you the question in the exam in a simple manner. For example, we can say draw the outline map of the India and locate the places where the iron ore is available. Or they may ask you, we can say, write in detail about the iron ore deposits in India, mica deposits in India, bauxite deposits in India, or what is the difference between the solar power, wind power, and so on. And you may be aware about wind power, many of you know it. Goa is not suitable because wind power always depends upon the velocity of the wind, and it will be considered to be also seasonal in nature. So that will be giving you the entire idea about the mineral and energy resources to you. Okay, this much will be the part about the 7th lesson. Thank you very much for this particular, we can say, presentation.
Prudent Scholars, powered by Lupin Pharmaceuticals.
अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस।